So one of the first readings focused on the works of CORE, the Committee on Racial Equality. There was an essay by James Farmer speaking of their work and how they were inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's use of nonviolence in his SALT March. The main strategy was to completely block out all other customers. As business slowed to a halt, companies were forced to accept integration. The haiku is, the strategy was, the sit-ins prevented sales, money changes minds, especially the lack thereof. The second essay was focused on Yancey Martin and his work on the Montgomery bus boycott. The community really rallied together. College students stayed home from college in order to keep giving rides. And one really poignant quote to me was when Martin Luther King was asking an old woman to start taking the bus again. He asked her if she was tired. And she said, "My feet is tired, but my soul is rested." So in the other reading, Eyes on the Prize, then introduced into the works was the Fellowship of Reconciliation. They were also inspired by the work of Mahatma Gandhi in their nonviolent demonstrations. So one of the big things that they did in partnership with the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, also known as SNCC, was they had sit-ins at places like Walgreens, where they, at one counter, they would buy school supplies, and at the other counter, they would try to be seated to buy sandwiches, coffee, Cokes, anything. They could be seated at this one, but they couldn't be served over here. So with these sit-ins, the students were treated really brutally. They were beaten, arrested, burned with cigarettes, just really treated awfully. But with some success, some of the lunch counters were then integrated. The next section focused on the presidency of JFK. Part of his election success was with the help of the African American support after he helped get Martin Luther King out of jail. But once he was in office, many people were disappointed with his lack of help with the civil rights movement. One thing that he really tried to do but didn't really do much in effect was he tried to help protect the Freedom Riders, but he was fighting against John Patterson, the governor of Alabama, who tried to do everything to prevent integration. So there was a lot of violence, a lot of deaths, a lot of injuries, and then later JFK ended up just focusing instead on voter rights in order to try to placate the African Americans without further pissing off the Southern Democrats.